UFC Fight Night, Lemos versus Jandiroba is this weekend. Is it a great card? I'll leave that up to you. The main event tells you a little bit of something, but we still, like always, we've got your full, except last week, sadly, we've got your full fight card predictions. We're going to throw in a little bit of betting talk and things like that, so stick around. What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Welcome back to another edition of the 10-7 MMA. I'm your boy DS, and I'm here with my guy Dino. Bam Bam.
That's me, Dino. I like that you pointed to the correct side. I like the energy, kind of high, because this card really, really fucking needs it. It's terrible. I know in the intro you said you're going to leave it up to them. I'll take ownership. This card really sucks, but it is what it is, man. We're here to cover it. Sorry about last week. We didn't drop that video. There were some issues going on, but we are here. Alas, Dino,
we're so sorry about that. You know, us here at 10-7 MMA, we take the fight game very seriously. And, you know, sometimes shit happens, right? I'm just going to say, if you guys were, or whoever ends up watching this, if you were to like and subscribe, give us a couple, 2-3 more views, then I wouldn't have to have a day job, right? Then we wouldn't have to deal with that kind of shit. And we wouldn't miss a single fight card. Nah, but for real, we fucked up on that. Apologies from us. In any case, we're here today to review the fight night this weekend, Lemos versus Jandiroba. It's not a good card, like you said. It's pretty ass. It's like slightly Korean themed, which I'm not saying that's why it's ass, just ass in general. I mean, look at this main event. This is, you know, it's just not good. Not good at all. This shouldn't even be a co-main in a fight night.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, Dino. I mean, it's a solid fight for the division, but there's not much star power in it, man. And I think even these Apex cards, like, you can put a shitty undercard. You can even have a shitty co-main event if you have, like, a solid enough main event. It is what it is. It's not the case this week, but, you know, we ride. We have a big pay-per-view coming up next week, I believe. So, whatever, man. Let's just get through this one and on to better things.
Let's do it. Let's do it. All right, starting off.
No. Dino, hold on. You forgot. You forgot. The thing at the bottom, guys.
I'm just trying to blaze through this shit. My fault.
Oh, brother, we're going to blaze through it. But if you guys are enjoying, which there is no chance in hell that you're enjoying this so far, but if you guys, for some reason, are enjoying, do us a favor. Hit the like button, the subscribe button. Do all that. That really helps us out. Dino, sound of the bell for him. Guys, that's the sound of the bell. You ring that. That's going to notify you when our videos drop. They normally drop multiple times a week. Last week should happen. But anyways, do that. You can also follow us on Instagram and TikTok at the 10-7 MMA, the same way it's spelled on this very channel here. Our video with Nina, or not with Nina, but the video that Nina was on, Dino, is almost at 3 mil, I believe. I think it's right there. But anyways, check us out on there. Now we can move on, Dino.
All right, let's get right to it. We've got a bunch of shit fights on the card. Let's start the night off hot, with two big-ass boys. Well, I guess at least one big-ass boy. I'm talking about the barn burner it's Muhammad Usman versus Thomas Peterson, okay? And not only is the name boring as shit, his fight style is too, but, Dino, give me your thoughts on this one.
All right. And weirdly enough, Dino, you referenced that these guys are not very fun, not very good, but they're kind of like the biggest names on this card, or like they're at least close to it. Like you would think this fight would be towards the top of this card. But anyways, let's start with Mo Usman, Lil Big.
Well, Usman is not Peterson, obviously.
Well, yeah, exactly. Muhammad Usman has a little bit of name value thanks to his brother, former champion Kamaru Usman. But anyways, Lil Big Bro, Muhammad Usman, you know, it is what it is. Last time out, he lost to Mick Parkin. Or I'm sorry, he beat Mick Parkin. He got himself a decision. Wait, Dino, holy shit. Rewind. He lost to Mick Parkin, okay? Is that what? I'm so damn confused here. My notes are a mess. But anyways, he's a big boy, man. He's got some serious power, Mo Usman. But he's not very technical in the stand-up, right? He stays defensive. He tries to stay away. He throws one big-ass shot at a time. His footwork was a little improved last time out. I hate to give the guy compliments because, like, he's such a boring fighter, but he looks like he's slightly improving. He is very damn dangerous. If he lands, you might go out. Defensively, he is a little hittable. Again, good. The footwork's been getting a little better. He's been okay in the UFC, man. Nothing to write home about. Kind of just coasting on his brother's name and I guess some big power that we saw in the finale of The Ultimate Fighter. Solid wrestling defense, by the way, or offense, but we haven't really seen the wrestling defense from him. Thomas Peterson, last time out, he lost to Jamal Pogues. Now, Jamal Pogues is not very good. I know you've been on record saying that you don't really love Jamal Pogues. It was a little bit of a surprising loss for me, man. I thought Peterson was going to come into the division, a division that kind of sucks in the UFC, right? And make a splash with his wrestling. But that's not the case. But anywho, he is a high-level, high-credentialed wrestler. He's going to need that in this fight to get a win because he is absolutely terrible on the feet. If he's not able to utilize that wrestling, he's going to get absolutely touched up by Usman. Low-level heavyweight MMA. I'm going Mo Usman by decision here. I don't think he gets the finish, but yeah, Thomas Peterson, man, not what I thought he would be.
Yeah, neither guy is particularly high level. This is free money on Mo Usman to me. I could see him getting a knockout, but like you said, he's not obviously any sort of volume striker. And we have some in the heavyweight division, whatever you want to say about the general skill of the heavyweight division overall. But yeah, I mean, Mo Usman, I expect him to be physically much stronger. I still expect him to be the more jacked kind of he's got to be in better shape. To me, Thomas Peterson basically just like a chunky middleweight at this point. Like he's got no definition. He doesn't have big arms. He doesn't have he's just like a fucking a little tubby guy, and he's 6'1". So Mo Usman, I mean, they're really bringing him along really fucking slowly. I know he lost to Mick Parkin, so I mean, I guess you got to take him down a little bit. But I'm going Mo Usman most likely by decision. I wouldn't be shocked if it's a knockout. The money line on Mo Usman, if these odds stay the way that they are, I think there's absolutely tremendous value in that.
Really quickly, why push him slowly? He's 35 years old, man. I get that there's some name value there, but if you're just going to throw him on fucking Apex cards to open a shitty Apex card, what's the point?
Yeah, I mean, he, for being how old he is, obviously his age doesn't match up with his experience level, right? So I guess that's probably part of it. But yeah, at this point, they have nothing to lose in him getting fucked up, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
If anything, pair him against another decent prospect, and then if somebody gets knocked out, sure, you bury one, but then the other one gets a big-ass boost.
Yeah, I'm with you, man.
So anyway, this is a very straightforward card. I'm really shocked that the odds are where they are. I expected them to be considerably wider, personally.
Yep.
All right, next fight of the night. We've got Luana Carolina. She is taking on Lucy Pudilova. Of all the shit fights on this card, this might be the absolute most shit one. And I'm not just saying that because they're winning. I mean, if you watch this channel, you know that we respect a good fight, no matter who's fighting, right? I don't see color, brother, right? I don't care if you're black, green, orange, purple, so I'm one of those guys. Yeah, not high on either of these ladies. Pudilova, not good at all. I mean, look at her record, 14-9, has losses in her last two to the arch enemies, basically, Island Perez and Jocelyn Edwards. Yeah, sure, it was kind of close with Jocelyn Edwards. She has wins over Yanan Wu. She's not a high-level fighter at all to me whatsoever. I've never been impressed by her game personally. The record speaks for itself. Luana Carolina's ass, too, to be honest. There's really not much to that. I was surprised to see that she's shorter. I thought she was actually the taller fighter. She does have 1.5 inches of reach. I really haven't seen anything from Lucy Pudilova. I will admit that I've been a little bit too low. I've been completely unimpressed, and I'm not much higher on her than I was before. I'm talking about Luana Carolina, but yeah, she never looks good, man. Neither of these girls ever really looks good. I'm sitting here bullshitting you. What the fuck am I saying? I'm going with Luana Carolina. This is a complete fucking toss-up. I'm not even gonna mention betting on this one, but I'll take Luana Carolina just landing some more shots. This fight's going the distance. I don't know what the fuck the odds on that are, but this is not a good fight. I'd be straight up just not watch this one, to be honest. I might close my eyes even if I'm watching the event.
All right, so I know you talk a lot of shit about Luana Carolina, especially for this one thing. She's supposedly a high-level, high-credentialed Muay Thai fighter, but
she's the national champion twice. What the fuck?
Go figure, I don't get it because she's a national champion. She's supposed to be high level. She looks super damn sloppy in the cage. Lucy Pudilova, Luana Carolina has this the pedigree and the history in striking, but Pudilova looks like the more clean striker in the cage. But regardless, like you said, it's a low level women's MMA here, man. Damn near impossible to bet on this. It is a coin flip. So I'll go Luana Carolina. She's on a little bit of a win streak. She's got 2 wins in a row. Julia Stoliarenko and Ivana Petrovic. And then Pudilova, on the other hand, she's lost 2 in a row, right? And this is her second attempt at the UFC. I think we learned this time what we should have learned last time, and it's that this girl really isn't UFC level. So yeah, I'm in full agreement with you. Luana Carolina by decision is the pick. I'm like somewhat comfortable in it, but yeah, I'm not betting women's MMA this low level in the UFC. I'm just not doing it.
For sure. All right, moving on. Next fight, we've got Loik Radzhabov. He is taking on Trey Ogden. Give me your thoughts on this one.
All right, man. Loik Radzhabov, Dino. This one's actually a decent little fight. Very heavy-handed wrestler. He tends to only throw one shot at a time when he is striking. It's a big problem for him, but if he does land, he has the ability to put somebody out. Huge ass power, great kicking game as well. He's just really, really damn aggressive on the feet. He's also really a physically strong fighter, and he looks strong as hell too. Solid grappler, as the OV would indicate at the end of his name. Does a good job ragdolling his opponents, just kind of being a little bit of a weight bully. But the cardio is a bit of an issue for him. He seems to slow down pretty drastically, halfway through the second round into the third. Then we have Trey Ogden, absolutely a wrestler. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. He is a really good wrestler with some good submission skills. 11 of his 17 career wins are by submission. He looked solid last time out against Kurt Holobaugh, who we're going to see later on in this card. He's not like strictly a wrestler. He is okay on the feet. Good job pumping out the jab, staying at range, some decently like underrated power in his arsenal as well. But the striking defense is worrying. He leaves his chin up in the air. He doesn't move his head very much. I think Loik Radzhabov, Dino, is going to dominate this fight a bit early. And as the fight progresses, we're going to see his cardio start to fail him. And then, and then Trey Ogden's going to start to kind of pick it up. I think ultimately Loik Radzhabov does get the decision, but as a side bet, I don't mind Trey Ogden by third round finish. I bet the odds on that are nuts.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure they are. No question about that. They typically are. And then in a fight like this, especially, I would imagine. All right, cool. So, yeah, I mean, I pretty much agree with you. You did a great job breaking down the fight. To me, it's really going to be Loik Radzhabov's pressure. And I can see him gassing, but I still think he'll be able to win the first 2 rounds. I think he'll end up winning this by decision. Like you said, Trey Ogden's no schlub on the ground either, but he's not going to be able to defend that many takedowns, in my opinion. Also, Loik Radzhabov, sneaky power too. Trey Ogden's best bet is to kind of, stick and move, right? And then bob and weave and land some shots. And then bob. I just think that Loik Radzhabov is not going to stand there at distance and let him jab him, right? At some point, he's going to start just spamming takedowns. And even though Trey Ogden's pretty good, I think Loik Radzhabov is the physically stronger guy. And I think his striking's a little bit underrated, maybe. I will say, however, Trey Ogden, man, there like I've gone like this on him, right? He's a guy like he came in and I'm like, I'm not really like into that guy. And then he beat Zell Huber and I was like, damn, all right, you know what? That was pretty good. And then he lost to Ignacio Bahamondes and Nicolas Mota, the premature stoppage one, obviously. And like wasn't super impressed. Then he beat Kerhal. So like I don't really know what to make of Trey Ogden, right? Like, is he good? Is he not? I'm not sure. I don't think Loik Radzhabov's like the super highest level fighter either. But I'm taking him here fairly comfortably. But I could definitely see if Trey Ogden pulled it out too. I do think he's a somewhat live dog.
Yeah, absolutely. So we see the fight pretty similarly here. There's another guy later on in this card, Dino, that's kind of been like an up and down guy, and you never really, get that read on him. We're gonna get there, but I'm glad that you pointed that out.
Yes, sir. All right, next fight of the night, we've got Miranda Maverick. She is taking on Dione Barbosa. I guess I'll go first on this one. Yeah, Barbosa didn't look bad. She hasn't looked bad. I don't think she's like the worst fighter, And how old is she? She's not that. I think she's 20. She's like 30 or something like that.
I'll check that for you.
Something like that. So I mean, yeah, we saw her with an armbar in the Contender Series. We saw
she's
her
32.
32. Thank you. So she's not even that young. She doesn't have a lot of experience. Miranda Maverick, the younger, more experienced fighter, and somebody who's been she's just been way more. It's not just that Dione Barbosa has not fought many times for her age. It's that Miranda Maverick has been fighting since she was like a teenager, right? So she's somebody who's so involved. And I always I've talked about this many times on the show too, right? Where it's like, to me, I think there's really something to be said about somebody who's been doing something for such a long period where it's second nature to them, right? Where your default, you can make something happen, right? Call it by accident, call whatever you want. I just think that let's call it instinct, right? I just think Miranda Maverick has a lot better instincts. I do expect her to put the pressure on Barbosa. She's younger. She's more experienced. She's been on a little, would you call it a hot streak? I mean, yeah, sure. It's like 2 fights in a row. It's against okay opponents. So did lose to Jasmine Jasudavicius, but Jasmine Jasudavicius looked pretty good too. I'm taking Maverick by decision here, and I mean, I don't really see any other way this fight ends, to be honest with you.
Yeah, to me, this one's a little weird, Dino. Okay, first of all, let's just look at their opponents, right? You mentioned a little bit with Miranda Maverick, but Miranda Maverick in her last 3 fights, Andrea Lee, Priscilla Cachoeira, Jasmine Jasudavicius, and she was scheduled to fight Tracy Cortez, who they had to pull to fight Rose last week, right? So think about where she was scheduled to fight. Then when you go to Dione Barbosa, her last fight was her UFC debut where she fought Ernesta Karakait, where we were struggling with saying her last name in her UFC debut. Before that, she beat Rayanne Guerrero on the Ultimate Fight, or on Dancing with the Stars, the Contender Series. So it's like level of comp is it's strongly in Miranda Maverick's favor. And then a weird one here where Miranda Maverick doesn't look so good on the feet ever. Like she doesn't have much striking. She is improving every time. Yeah, she is improving every time we see her. So a bit of a weird one where Dione Barbosa is a very good jiu-jitsu player, so she is solid on the ground. She's definitely the better fighter on the feet, and the gap on the feet is much bigger than the gap in the ground on this one. But it's still a weird situation where I'm going to pick Miranda Maverick regardless if she's the one faceted fighter, let's say. Barbosa is a fine enough grappler to survive these situations on the ground, but there's just something to be said about Miranda Maverick, man. She's on a little bit of a hot streak. Yes, she lost to Jasmine Jasudavicius, but she's an absolute dog, or she looks like it at least. And I think Miranda Maverick's going to be one of those ladies, that we see at the top of this division. I don't know if she gets to a title shot at any point, but I think she will stick around in that top 8, top 5 area for years to come, man. So I'm going to go with her. I expect this fight to be somewhat close, but Miranda Maverick by decision seems pretty safe to me.
Yup. Moving on. We've got another. This is actually not a. Well, we'll see. This is a pretty low level fight too. At this point, I mean, there was a time maybe where this would have been an okay fight at some point in their careers. I'm talking about Brian Kelleher, who's taken on Cody Gibson. They have a combined 25 losses. The younger fighter is 36 in 10 months. So, and the other one's almost 38. So, what do you think about this one?
Yeah, a weird one. I've been flipping on this one like literally since I saw it being booked. But anyways,
this is one of the tougher ones on the card.
Definitely, man. And the odds are pretty wide for that. So interesting. But anywho, Brian Boom Kelleher, solid striker, good crisp boxing, decent combinations. He's shown in his career the ability to actually throw with some power. And then he's also shown in his career the ability to grapple really well, man. Like he's mostly a grappler to me. His losses have come to guys that, some pretty impressive guys. He lost to Cody Garbrandt, I remember. I believe he lost to Umar Nurmagomedov. So some pretty good comp in his losses here. The question mark on Brian Boom Kelleher, well, the question mark with both of these guys is the age. But then you really got to worry about his chin, right? It has looked pretty sus. He has been knocked out a couple times. So interested to see how that holds up. And then you have Cody Gibson. Technically, he's a very technical, well-rounded fighter, Second stint again for him in the UFC, as we mentioned earlier in this card with somebody else, with the lady in the second fight. But I think he's just taken this a little more serious at this point than Brian Kelleher. I think Brian Kelleher knows that his time is running out, whereas Cody Gibson just got back in the UFC. He's looking to stay here and make a little bit of a name for himself. Tough fight, man. 2 veterans, but I guess I'm just going to go with Cody Gibson in this one. I don't love the minus 230. But I just can't see Kelleher getting a finish. And I think if this fight goes to decision, Gibson wins it. So give me Cody Gibson, I guess by knockout. But yeah, I'm not sure. Just coin flip, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. It's pretty much a coin flip because you don't know. I mean, yeah, Cody should definitely be the more motivated fighter here. He has more to gain, more to lose. Brian Kelleher, I mean, like you said, he's been here. He's been pretty trash. he's gotten we've seen a steady decline of Brian Kelleher at this point, I believe. And then he's coming off a bad knockout to Cody Garbrandt, which obviously is a pretty high level opponent, even this version of Cody Garbrandt. But yeah, I think Kelleher is basically completely cooked. I'm going with Cody, but not super confident either.
I mean, Dino, let's take a quick look. I just want to do this for a second here with Brian Kelleher really quickly. His resume since 2018. Look at the guys he's fought. First and foremost, in 2018 in February, he beat Henan Barao, which is wow, that's a great win for your for your career, for your legacy. And then he lost to John Lineker, a guy he should have lost to. He lost to Montel Jackson, a guy he should have lost to. He beat Ode Osborne and Hunter Azure, two fights that honestly, if you look at him from a pick perspective, he should have been the guy that lost those fights, but he won them. Lost to Cody Stamen, beat Ray Rodriguez, lost to Ricky Simone, and then losses to Umar Nurmagomedov, Mario Batista, and Cody Garbrandt. So the guys he's losing to are really high-level guys. So
yeah,
weird matchmaking with Brian Kelleher. I don't understand why they were doing that to him, just throwing him against the best guys in the world, but
they just saw him as this guy needs a tune-up fight. Here, fight this guy.
Yeah, probably, dude. Probably.
I will also say Cody Gibson, though he lost to Miles Johns, I'm going to do some MMA algebra here, basically. Miles Johns I didn't think was all that great, but he's grown on me in the last couple fights, to be honest with you. So the fact that I've started to value him more, a decently close fight, for Cody Gibson versus Miles Johns, I respect it.
Yeah. I'll be rooting for Brian Kelleher for whatever that's worth. But yeah, Cody Gibson, probably the winner on this one.
Yeah, I'll be rooting for Cody, to be honest with you on that one. All right. Next fight of the night, we've got Hyder Amil. He is taking on Jeong Lee. Hyder Amil, of course, is 9-0. He has only had 9 fights. So, I mean, that's something to talk about. Jeong Lee, bro, he has been in the UFC for how long at this point? 2 years?
Not very. He was on the Asian show, the Road to the UFC, wasn't he?
Yeah. But so that was what? That was what, a year? Yeah, a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
I mean,
so
shit, dude.
Right when we started this very channel, Dino. Right when we started this very damn channel.
That's true.
Shout out Young Lee, an OG of the 10-7 MMA.
Oh, God. Yeah, I think the biggest difference in this fight is going to be the striking, right? Let's be honest. We haven't seen a ton of either guy. Hyder Amil especially, I don't for sure know what to make of him at this point. I saw him on the Contender Series. I like his striking. For me, I think the biggest issue here is going to be that the fact that he's a southpaw, right? Jeong Lee is pretty heavy on that front foot. I expect him to take a decent amount of damage and pretty quickly in the first round. I think that's going to end up limiting his movement. And I think Hyder Amil is just going to land better shots, man. I think Jeong Lee, I haven't seen him fight too many southpaws. And yeah, it's one thing that I very much noticed about his game is that he's very, very heavy on that front foot. Also, he's hittable, man. He drops his hands a lot. He keeps, as the fight goes on, his hands kind of go low. And I just don't think he has the power coming back the other way, or the striking acumen to put the fear in Hyder Amil, right? I think Hyder Amil is going to work the leg, get his hands to drop as he's working the lower body. And I see him landing something, right? My only question is it knockout? Is it decision? Man, I'm going to go with decision. I think Jeong Lee is, tough enough at this point. I don't trust the chin too much, but I just feel like, Hyder Amil, we'll see how aggressive he comes out, right? That's the big question for me. But I'm definitely picking him. I'm shocked that he's like a, moderate underdog here, but I'll take that all day.
Yeah, Dino, I'm going to actually disagree with you on this one, man. Hyder Amil, he does come out well, let's start here. Both of these guys are finishers. They're both absolute finishers. Hyder Amil, we see him get a ton of knockouts. He has some serious ass power. And then as far as Jeong Lee's concerned, man, we saw on the road to the UFC, he had 2 knockouts and a submission pretty damn quickly in that tournament. So 2 guys that are finishers. Now, Hyder Amil, we have seen go to a couple decisions in the LFA. There was a fight, and I don't recall who it was against in the LFA, but I remember that being a very close fight that I scored the other way, but ultimately he did get that split decision win. Jeong Lee, man, we've also seen him go to decision as of late, or recently, I should say. And he got himself a win versus a guy in Blake Builder, who's not necessarily the best fighter. By the way, shout out Blake Builder, another early 10-7 guy from the first episode, I want to say. But Blake Builder, if anything, he's an athlete, right? He's super damn athletic, good cardio, aggressive, nonstop. And Jeong Lee was able to withstand that and get himself a comfortable decision win against a guy that we know won't slow down. Hyder Amil tends to slow down when he goes to the distance. And being a guy that's that, kind of jacked and it comes out that aggressive normally, I think he will slow down. So if Lee's able to kind of just just hold himself and not get knocked the fuck out in the first few minutes of that fight, I think he's progressively going to get better as the fight goes on, whereas Emil's going to get a little bit worse as the fight goes on. So I'm going to actually go with Lee getting a finish in this one. I think he gets a knockout late in the second round. But look, both of these guys unproven. It could really go either way. I think we're going to learn a lot about Jeong Lee, and we're going to learn a lot about Hyder Amil here. I'm interested to see what Hyder Amil can bring to the table, being an undefeated guy at 34 years old in the UFC. I wonder how serious that 9-0 is. Is it a 9-0 because he's been fighting absolute trash cans, or is it a 9-0 because he's that damn good?
Yeah. And again, there's not a ton of tape on either of these guys, against UFC level competition, right? So right. With a grain of salt for my prediction, for sure.
I mean, really, we have like 5 fights on each of them, right? Like on Fight Pass, essentially. So it's not too much. Yeah, man. I'm interested. I want to see what they look like against each other, and I'd like to see what they look like against like actual proven UFC guys.
Yes, sir. All right, next fight of the card. We've got Doo Ho Choi. He is taking on my boy, Bill Algeo. What do you think about this one?
All right, man. I feel like people are going to want to avoid saying this for this fight, but it really is a striker versus grappler fight, right? We have Bill Algeo. He's obviously the grappler. Doo Ho Choi, he is the striker. Who's going to be the better fighter in that other aspect of MMA? We know that Doo Ho Choi has been working with the Korean Zombie and his team working on his grappling. And we've seen Bill Algeo improving on the feet. And I was alluding to this a little earlier, Dino, with Bill Algeo. It finally seemed like we were getting that rise out of Bill Algeo, like it was getting to be that time where he was going to make a name for himself, go on a winning streak. And just as fast as that winning streak started, it ended. So, look, if this fight was before the Kyle Nelson fight, I would 100% pick yo boy Bill Algeo. But shit, dude, man, if Kyle Nelson...
Are you kidding me? You're going to pick Doo Ho Choi here?
I'm going to pick Doo Ho Choi, who hasn't won a fight in 7 years. Because all I'm saying is if Kyle Nelson can knock your ass out, I feel like Doo Ho Choi will be able to do that as well. I feel like Doo Ho Choi has
no striking defense whatsoever.
I understand that, Dino, and we've seen some of the best fights ever with Doo Ho Choi in them. He's a tough-ass dude. I think it's time for him to get a win, man. Shit, he hasn't won in 7 years. It's about that fucking time. He's exciting. Hella fight of the night bonuses. I'm picking Doo Ho Choi. I'm getting him. I'm doing it by knockout. Round 2.
I think you're out of your mind. I completely disagree on this one. I don't think it's like a cakewalk for Algeo, but he's got the length on Doo Ho Choi, and Doo Ho Choi notoriously does not take strikes well. His ability to take strikes and his defense in general, getting out of the way of strikes, is not good whatsoever. And Bill Algeo is not just somebody who's got decent length, but somebody who also knows how to use that length, right? He fights big, he plays big, right? As our coaches used to say, type shit. He lost to Kyle Nelson. He's a really good striker. I hated to see that personally, to be honest with you. I just don't I don't like the striking defense of Doo Ho Choi. And then if it gets to the ground, Bill Algeo is very good on the ground. He's got tons of submission finishes. And I think he's actually the more dangerous submission threat personally, if it does get there. I think we're going to see a submission finish, let's say in like the end of the second round for Bill Algeo here.
Look, both of their last fights were against Kyle Nelson, right? That's what it is. Okay, so I know the MMA math don't be mathin', but shit, Kyle Nelson went out there and he had a draw against Doo Ho Choi, and he knocked the fuck out of Bill Algeo. I think they're both I think they're a lot better at the thing they're good at. So I do think Doo Ho Choi is the significantly better striker. You may think I'm nuts, and I do think Bill Algeo is a significantly better grappler. I'm going to go with Doo Ho Choi, man. I just trust him. I know he's fun, he's exciting, and he's the younger fighter in this one. As weird as that sounds to say.
Well, I don't think that sounds weird. Bill Algeo's Man, he's one of those guys I wish he was like as good as he is now, or like as active as he's been. Not that he's been super active, but like, yeah, younger. I wish he was that younger. Yeah.
Well, I wish Doohoo Choi and Cub Swanson wasn't 17 years ago, but shit, life is life, bro. Shit, time happens. Shit fucking goes.
I mean, you fucking said it, brother.
That's it.
You fucking said it. All right, next fight of the
said it.
Exactly. All right, next fight of the night. And you just made me lose my place. We got Cody Durden. He's taking on Bruno Silva. Man, were you talking about Cody Durden earlier?
Did I type? Is this supposed to be Cody Durden? Because I think I typed Cody Gibson. Give me 1 second. I gotta fix that.
That's okay.
No, I was talking about. I just mentioned who I was talking about. Bill Algeo. But go ahead. I'm gonna fix.
Oh, this. You were. I'm sorry. My bad. I missed that.
Go ahead. You can talk about it.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah, shit. We're here, bro. We fixing it. Boom.
All right. So yeah, Cody Durden. He's taking on Bruno Silva. Man, this is another tough one in my opinion as far as predictions go. Bruno Silva, last time we saw him, he fought Tyson Nam. He got a very nice submission victory versus him. He's got a win over JP Bays. Not that really means much at all at this point. Cody Durden, man, like, he had some weird losses, right? I mean, he lost to Jimmy Flick, which Jimmy Flick is, pretty much a submission specialist at this point. He got a wild-ass flying triangle on him, so I get that. I forgot that Cody Durden also beat up on JP Bays. But yeah, listen, man, this is I expect it to be a tight, close fight. For me though, it's Bruno Silva's pretty good, but Durden for me, I think he's got the potential to even still now be something in the flyweight division. He's got good striking, he's got good grappling, he's got a good cardio. He's pretty much good everywhere, right? He's very well rounded. Silva is, I guess, more the finisher in this fight, but he's shorter, and I don't know, man. Durden is he's so solid everywhere. And if you look at the level of competition, some of these wins, particularly the Charles Johnson one, has aged very nicely at this point too. Jake Hadley, not a bad win either. He lost to Tagir Ulanbekov, but Tagir Ulanbekov obviously is pretty damn good. His only UFC loss coming to Tim Elliott. So all that being said, I am going to go with Cody Durden, and I'm going to say by decision.
Yeah, I fully agree with you here. I'm also going Cody Durden by decision here. Obviously, again, it is striker versus grappler, right? Silva, definitely the more sharp striker, definitely has more power. Cody Durden's solid on the feet. Like, don't get it twisted, but he is an absolute beast wrestler. That's what he wants to do. And then we have seen him get dropped in his losses, right? He did get dropped by Tagir Ulanbekov. He even got dropped by Muhammad Makayev, which is a little wild because if Makayev's not throwing those massive spinny-ass kicks, he shouldn't be knocking any fucking body down.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, man, it's a pretty even fight. I think if there is a finish to be had, it's probably Silva. But I think Cody Durden is going to use his wrestling, take Silva down, and just basically ride out a decision, man. So I'm with you. Cody Durden by decision. I like -120. I will probably bet this. I don't know if it's like safe enough to parlay, but I do like it as a standalone bet.
Respect. All right, moving on. Next fight, we've got Kurt Holobaugh. He is taking on the Brazilian Polak, Kaynan Kruschewsky. What do you think about this fight?
Yeah, I'm actually very damn comfortable with this one. I'm going Kaynan Kruschewsky by second round knockout. Again, I know I have like 5 second-round knockouts on this card, but he is a way, way better striker here than Kurt Holobaugh, right? Like super, super high level Muay Thai fighter. Great kicks, man. Great power. Let's not take anything away from him. In his debut, he, I believe he got sparked out. Is that correct?
Oh, violently.
Yeah, he got sparked out. Was that by our boy? What's his name? By Elvis Brenner. Shout out Elvis Brenner.
Absolutely violently towards the end of the first round.
Friend of the channel, Elvis Brenner. I remember watching Kaynan Kruschewsky's fighter, or not Ultimate Fighter. I keep saying Ultimate Fighter because it's going on now, but his Dancing with the Stars episode, and man, he looked good. I think his striking is legit. On paper, he just is the better fighter here, Dino. That's why it is a -155. The grappling, both guys are solid grapplers. I think that Kruschewsky is a little bit worse than Kurt Holobaugh in this one, but I think he's able to stay on the feet and eventually get that finish. So yeah, Kaynan Kruschewsky, I think he gets the finish. Knockout round 2, right hand.
Yeah, I really hope you're right. Um, yeah, I mean, I wanted to see Khrushchev. I didn't want to see him win against Brenner, but I like this guy, right? I do like his striking. It's crisp. He's got good power. He got fucking rocked really badly, knocked out absolutely brutally. But obviously, Elvis Brenner is an absolute dog. I see this fight really going one of two ways, right? Either I think Kaynan Kruschewsky is going to get like a middle of the first round knockout, bad. Like he's going to put Holobaugh out bad. Also, did you know Kruschewsky only is 4 years younger than this guy? Like
Yep.
that did not click for me whatsoever. Holobaugh is decent striking, man. I do expect Kruschewsky to just be better on the feet. Man, the ground. So it's either I expect a first round knockout for Kaynan, or I could see the veteran, not necessarily UFC veteran, right, but fight veteran Kurt Holobaugh just taking him down and frustrating him on the ground. He does have a handful of submission victories too. So for me, I absolutely see a finish in this one. I think whoever it is, they're getting a finish. I'm gonna side with you. I'm gonna say Kaynan first round knockout. But man, I'm not super confident. Holobaugh, he's just that kind of fighter, right? Where he can use that OG shit on you and just frustrate the shit out of you. But I would really like to see Kaynan win this.
For what it's worth, man, Kurt Holobaugh, he did win the Ultimate Fighter, but it was probably the weakest season of the Ultimate Fighter we've seen in the past
100%.
few years, man. So, I don't know how much that says about him. He's 1-5 in his UFC career. So I just don't think he's very high level, but I feel you, man. He is a veteran, and I guess you never know. So maybe I'm optimistic and hoping that Kaynan Kruschewsky gets the knockout, but I got some faith in him.
Yep. All right, brother. Moving on. Next fight of the night, we've got Steve Garcia. He's taking on Seung-Woo Choi. What do you think about this? Is it me on this one?
This is you, brother.
Yeah. Listen, Seung-Woo Choi, he's been clipped before, right? After Steve Garcia's last fight, I can't possibly in my right mind pick against him, dude. He's knocking everybody out. He knocked out Chase Hooper. He knocked out Shylon Nurden-Beckett. He knocked out Mel Costa, who I was like pretty high on, to be honest with you. Yeah. Wrecked the shit out of him. I think it's going to be a firefight. These guys are going to be swinging. I just don't see a possible way for Seung-Woo Choi to win this one. I'm going to go Steve Garcia, early second round knockout.
Yeah, by the way, if you look at Steve Garcia's resume on Tapology, you see he has a win versus Violent Bob Ross, Luis Pena. That's a fucking throwback-ass guy. And I randomly thought about him the other day, Dino, and looked him up on Instagram. He's doing like construction now. He's doing MMA, Muay Thai, boxing, grappling competitions, and fucking working construction. So, good for Violent Bob Ross.
I mean, good on him, though. He's valuable as fuck.
Hey, there he is. He's getting it done. Yeah. Did you say Steve Garcia by knockout?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. I am 1,000% with you. I think he gets it done in the first round. He has been finishing everybody, as you mentioned. Man, just an impressive resume, dude. I think an underrated guy, maybe not underrated, but definitely under the radar. Like you said, Chase Hooper, Shylon Nurden-Beckett, Melky Costa. Dude, he has a win against Chepe pre-UFC in the LFA. Steve Garcia is really that guy. I have a lot of faith in him as a fighter. And like I said, I think he's flying under a lot of people's radars. Unless
he might be the best male fighter on this card.
It's possible, dude. It's very, very possible. He's awesome, man. He's a fun fighter. Yeah, I mean, there's a chance he gets finished. Seung-Woo Choi, very live for a finish himself, but Steve Garcia by knockout, dude. Like you said, I can't pick against the guy.
Yep, absolutely. All right, moving on to the co-main event of the evening. We've got my boy Brad Tavares. He's taking on another my boy, Jin-Young Park. Bam Bam, what do you think about this one?
I'm not going to lie to you. Personally, I'm getting a little sick of Brett Tavares. I don't know what it is. I don't know if I'm burnt out on the guy. I'm just kind of like sick of seeing him. I feel like we see him like every 4 months, and he's just like in a big spot. And it's always just like the same shit. It's like Brett Tavares, man. He's got some of the toughest fights, and, he's lost to only the best guys and this and that. And it's just like, I'm sick of him. I'm just a personal thing. It has nothing to do with the breakdown. Just sick of the fucking guy. But anyways, both of these guys are good, man. They're both veterans. They're both tough as shit. The power advantage goes to Brad Tavares. The striking goes to Brad Tavares. The grappling goes towards Jin-Young Park. Now, the issue is Jin-Young Park going to be able to get the takedowns? Brad Tavares, notoriously really, really damn tough to take down. And I think Jun Young Park is going to need takedowns to win this fight. Not a takedown, but takedowns. I'm actually going to go with Jun Young Park in this one. I'm very confident that he wins it. I kind of feel like a submission is in order here. I know that sounds weird because Brad Tavares is tough to take down. But I think Jun Young Park is going to do it. He's going to work this fight up against the cage, get a couple takedowns, wear Brad Tavares down, and find himself a sub. So I'm going Jun Young Park round 3 submission, but a possible decision as well.
Yeah, I disagree with you, man. I think it's a really bad matchup for Jun Young Park for basically the reasons that you said. Brad Tavares, some of the best takedown defense in the division. He has become quite a boring fighter. He doesn't have a ton of power. He is going to be better on the feet, obviously. But he's gonna throw nothing super crazy, right? And then sometimes he's like very low volume, especially lately. So he's gonna need to put it on Jun Young Park. He's gonna need to be the aggressor on the feet and use his striking because he's better on the feet. He's also got a decent chin. I mean, I know he's been knocked out. I get it, but Jun Young Park, I just think it's a bad matchup for him, man. Where he is at his best is in the grappling. And if this fight started on the ground, I would go with Jun Young Park. I just think he's going to have a lot of trouble taking somebody like Brad Tavares down. I don't see a submission happening here. I think this one's pretty locked to go the distance for me. I mean, I feel very good about that. And I feel very good about Brad Tavares at plus money here. I haven't been super impressed with him. I think he's kind of on the downside of his career. I mean, I think that's pretty clear here. Yeah, I got to go with it, man. I'm going to give him one more chance. I'm going to go Brad Tavares by decision.
Yeah, and for what it's worth, obviously you got to stick with your boy, so I figured you were going that way. And also, man, I know I kind of alluded to it, but holy shit, the resume of Brad Tavares, just like the level of comp. I don't want to say resume because he's lost to a lot of the guys that he should have lost to, but just the level of comp, absolutely fucking crazy. And on the Jun Young Park side, man, he's been finishing everybody when he's winning fights. So I think a finish is possible in this one, is likely. And you're saying you're pretty confident in this going to decision. So let's see how that plays out.
Yes, sir.
Let's go.
All right. We have got the main event of the evening. It's Amanda Lemos.
Dino. It's the main event.
Main event. We've got the main event of the evening. It's 2 Brazilian fellas. We've got Amanda Lemos. She is taking on Virna Jandiroba. Is this me right here?
Brother, you take it.
Yeah, I can't wait. Yeah, listen, this is actually a pretty good fight. I could see this being a boring fight. We pretty much know who both these fighters are. I'm glad to see Virna kind of getting her boost finally to the top. She's very good. She's been very underrated. Obviously, Lemos, she's fought for a title, and I think that fight told us a lot about Amanda Lemos. Obviously, Weili is maybe the women's GOAT, skill for skill, and for my money. And even if she's not, she's one of the top 3 to 5 greatest women's fighters of all time. She's unbelievable. The amount of cardio, her cardio was kind of actually given out last time, but typically cardio is very good. Her grappling's great. Her striking is good. Lemos was kind of exposed in terms of her grappling and wrestling ability in that fight. So, Jandiroba is a very good grappler. So I think she has a distinct advantage there. Amanda Lemos should be the better striker. Virna is weirdly not savvy, but she's kind of tricky on the feet, right? She can land some shit on you too. Man, this is the odds are pretty much spot on to how I feel here. I am slightly leaning towards Virna at this point. I don't know if Lemos had a bad night or an off night versus Weili, or if it was just too big of a moment or what might have happened there. But man, the grappling just looked really, really bad. She was pretty much just held down the entire time. And she was the bigger fighter, right? So this is a tough one, man. This is really tough for me. Lemos should be much better on the feet, right? She should be able to rock Virna, but I think I'm leaning towards Virna, man. I think I'm going to go with her by decision. But this fight could really go either way, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it can go either way. Both of these ladies, very good, Dino. The thing with Amanda Lemos, right, in that fight versus Weili, you said it. She was pretty much exposed, and it looked like, holy shit, if you got some grappling and, you're a tough fighter, you're in that upper echelon of the division, that you should be able to beat her. And then last time out, man, she beat the dog shit out of Mackenzie Dern. So, she rebounded pretty well from that. Now, look, I know Amanda Lemos is a good grappler. Like
She
she
beat the
just,
fuck out of Mackenzie Dern.
yeah, absolutely. Um,
Like dropped their ass like bad. Yeah.
yeah, so like you got to weigh it, right? Like, does the Wei Lee fight outweigh, like getting your ass kicked by Wei Lee is nothing to like be
But I
ashamed
feel like Mackenzie's such a specialist.
of. Right. So it's like if you're focused on one thing, it looks like she can, she can be all right in that aspect. Now, Virna Jandiroba is an absolute grappler. She's a beast grappler, by the way. She's really damn good. Look, the striking is Amanda Lemos. The grappling is Virna Jandiroba. I hate to make it that simple, but it's been about 5 times on this card that we've had to do this. I think if this fight stays on the feet, it's going to be trouble for Virna. I think she gets picked apart at range if she's not able to take this fight to the ground, man. But look, Virna Jandiroba is such a beast, in the grappling. She is such a tough fighter. She shows grit every time she's out there. She's damn near impossible to finish. And she's a my girl. For what it's worth, she's a my girl, so I ain't picking against her. I'm going Virna Jandiroba here. I think the cardio is going to be king in this one, especially in a 5-round fight. Lemos has to slow down. Virna Jandiroba will not slow down. She will constantly shoot takedowns, and when she's on top, she's going to remain heavy, and she's going to be threatening Lemos the entire time. I like Virna Jandiroba 49-46 in this one, maybe even a 50-45. And then we might be looking at a Virna Jandiroba title shot deal. We might be
that's pretty wild. That's a pretty hot take, I would say, there at the end.
Come on now. That's what I do.
Right,
I have takes and they're hot. They're hot.
I got Italian leather boots.
Hey, shout out Young Hit, bro. Never thought we would do that. Shout out that.
Young Hit. Hope he's doing all right.
Hope he's alive.
On my life. That's all we got for you guys today. I still went a little bit longer than we should have, to be honest with you. Dino Bam, take us out, brother.
All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, do us a favor. Hit the little like button. Hit the subscribe button. Hit some comments in there. Like help the Algo out. Not the Algeo, but the Algo. Help it out. Then that way, me and Dino will drop 5 videos a week for you guys if we get enough subscribers to where we don't have to have that day job that you were referring to.
Oh, God.
That's what I'm saying. So help us out. Do all that. Like and subscribe. Also follow us on the gram, as the children like to say these days, at D107MMA. We got pictures with us and fighters. And now we're in the meme business, and the memes are pretty badass. So check us out on there. Follow or whatever the fuck you do. Anyways, guys, I am Dino Bam Bam. That right there is DS. He is my partner here at D107MMA. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace.